How many of us knew we were going to have to become IT experts? Not many of us. That said, there's probably some people on this call who are legit IT experts. Aren't you exhausted from your friends phoning you and not understanding that actually you may be a large-scale Linux programmer and suddenly they just want you to explain Microsoft Teams to them? So know your platforms and know their platforms. Don't be afraid to own your preferred platform. So I will be completely transparent with you. My preferred platform is Zoom. It's what I use. It's what I defer to. It's where I have the most expertise. I sometimes have to use Teams with clients. I do not love Teams. And the reason I do not love Teams is because I do not deeply understand Teams. But you better believe if I had a job interview or a networking meeting or a client who was a regular user of Teams, I'd figure it out. Google Meet, that's another one. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of these. The important thing is to know your platform and know their platform, to test on the appropriate platform. So I can tell you, I know what this presentation is going to look like on Zoom because I practiced on Zoom and I tested it on Zoom. In my worst nightmare, when Gaddafi sends me the message half an hour beforehand that says, Zoom is down, we're switching to Teams, Blue Jeans, Google Meet. Oh my gosh. Because I know that on Google Meet, for example, for some reason, the camera angles are completely different. I don't know where all the buttons are to do all the things. But the lots and lots and lots of different platforms means that you have work to do. Also on the platforms, updates, 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 people. If you use Zoom and you haven't updated recently, you are about to start losing functionality because they are starting to reduce functionality for people who are multiple versions behind. And if you find that out in the informational interview, when the person on the other side of the connection says, could you share your screen? And you go to share your screen and you can't because your Zoom is out of date, you look like someone who wasn't paying attention. It stops being about the platform and it starts being about your deficiencies. And then I think it was Craig bravely and appropriately mentioned the age factor in here, given our group. Then people start to think, well, are they going to learn new tech? And they may just be doing, as a dear friend of mine, the author Melanie Ho talks about the mental autocomplete of, are they too old for this? They might not be intentionally doing anything, but you've suddenly left that door open for them. So practice. And then understand that perception is reality. So there's some great comments about frustrations with technology here. Sometimes all the testing and all the rest of it cannot get us through what we need to get through. Jan and Kirk both talking about this in the chat. It's a huge waste of time, but have planned redundancy. So you know what your first plan is. If they can't hear you, do you have your phone handy? Is it charged? Could you dial in instead? Offer constructive solutions so that you are perceived as a solution bringer, not someone who gets bogged down in the challenge.